Well, Lil Durk,
Mm.
his trial has been pushed back again, and his co-defendants have severed their trials from him.
Yeah.
Now, I've interviewed Durk a couple times. He was mad at me for a while. I think I've gotten dissed on 2 of his albums. But from what I understand now, he has no problem with me because clearly he doesn't need any more enemies. Because me and his lawyer, Drew, are actually cool. We did a whole interview about his case. How do you think this thing will end?
I think he's cooked. I think these guys are telling on him. They've got a mountain of physical evidence, digital evidence, and you got his, gang members that he was doing illicit acts with, and they seem like they're lining up to tell on him. I don't really see any reason that anybody would have any kind of confidence. It's kind of like a weird thing in the rap media world where there's a lot of incentives for you, if you're a commentator, to give the more rosier outlook on what might happen. Mo Gengat is somebody that I've kind of accused of this in the past.
Oh yeah, everyone that he talks about is innocent. They're getting off. Tory Lanez, everybody.
Because I think he knows that if you want to get the Durk hive, the fan base that supports Durk to engage with your content, if you say, hey, I think he's actually going to get off, a lot of this evidence is going to get thrown out, it's bullshit, etc. I think academics from time to time seems like he's kind of corrupted by these incentives as well, where it's like, and he's someone who's got a relationship with Durk. Me, I'm somebody who I feel like I can speak more freely about Durk because he was hating on me during the last year or so before he got locked up, and I heard about him saying shit about me, etc. So I feel like I can be honest, which is that I don't think he's got a chance in hell. I think we're going to be hearing the next Durk album when he's 56 or something like that.
Well, I heard that India is now talking about how she needs to move on and live her life. I guess she just turned 30, and it almost is making it sound like what she knows is making her think that this is not going to work out.
I didn't hear that, but yeah, that is pretty damning right there. And, the clock starts ticking as soon as you get this federal indictment that comes down. Like, I don't know if you remember Loose Cannon, who was the guy who was running around with Whack for a while there. And he's the one who was talking all this shit about Big U. And then he gets picked up in the Rolling 60s Rico along with Brig Baby and everything. And he had this girl, Sharice Mills, who they were super locked in, they had a baby, etc. And, it took about a year for her to basically distance herself from him. She deleted all of his content off of her YouTube channel. And, it's like if you're a normal woman, a lot of normal women get kind of immersed in the world of the guy that they're in a relationship with. It doesn't really take that long once the reality sets in. Like, they might be sitting there for a couple years before this trial even starts. A normal woman does not want to spend her life just waiting around for you while you're sitting in prison. And especially when you consider that the average woman has, a relatively small window in which they're going to be fertile. And, if especially a woman who's in her early or mid 30s, the clock is ticking. Like, you're not really going to be able to crank out kids at 40 on average. So, yeah, I mean, probably you could read a lot into India saying that if that is what she said. But, yeah, just in general, I think a lot of people want to see Durk do well in this, but I don't really see much of a reason.
I mean, I don't know if you heard the story about Chef G, but he had a girlfriend on the outside.
Yeah.
And I guess he gave her $100,000.
Yeah.
But then he found out that he's got 4 more years as opposed to like the 2 years that he thought. And after getting the money, she broke up with him. And she's not even denying it. She's like, I have my own reasons. Peace.
Yeah. I mean, these chicks are gangster too, man. Like, at a certain point, it's like, she probably knows that it's not like he's going to stop calling, because he don't got nobody else to talk to while he's locked up.
Well, you could change your number, though.
Yeah.
And then that's it. That's over.
But I'm saying is, like, she could probably maintain a relationship with him over the phone.
Whatever that means, yeah.
But then meanwhile, she could be getting money and dick from other dudes out here on the outside for the next 4 or 5 years. And then, hey, maybe you still feel deeply passionate about him around the time that he gets out, and you could rekindle the flame. But meanwhile, like, you just spent the last 5 years having a good time and going to the club and getting guys to buy you handbags.
Yeah, and a lot of times these guys get out and get a new younger chick. Happens all the time. I interviewed Max B's co-defendant, Gina Conway, and it really, really seemed like she was in love with Max, and they were writing each other while they were both locked up and so forth. He gets out, gets himself a new wife.
Yeah.
A white girl at that.
Yeah.
You
And
know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
I watched the interview.
When you get on and leave, you ask for a white girl.
Yeah, because they were offering me that interview with her as well. And instead, I chose to just watch your interview with her. And, you know, she really stood out as somebody who 10, 15 years ago, whenever the Max B situation was, what, 2008?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, 18 years ago.
Maybe not 2009, 10.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe 2010.
Yeah. Okay. So 16 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that 16 years ago, she probably looked great.
Well, there's pictures of her.
Yeah.
She was a stripper.
Right.
So, yeah.
Apparently, she was hot enough for Max B at the height of his fame. And you look at her now, and, you know, time has taken a bit of a toll on her.
And prison as well.
You listen to her speak, and you're like, okay, this girl realistically has a Forrest Gump IQ. And
she's probably on the spectrum.
Right. So here you have someone like Max B, and this is the spellbounding effect of pussy. Somebody like Max B, who was probably not a total idiot criminally, but he gets into a criminal conspiracy that ends in a murder with a girl who is functionally retarded just because she's hot. And then you fast forward the clock, and it's like, you know, just like what was the purpose of this? Like, why would you take this sort of risk? I mean, it's just really like a sad situation. And I honestly feel like her interview might have been one of the least compelling interviews I've ever seen you do. Like, obviously, you did what you do, but she just had nothing to offer. It was tough.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, I feel that she's somewhat on the spectrum to a certain degree, and. Well, but the story is the story. It's an important story. And it seems like Max B hasn't really been telling his side of the story in terms of that situation. Because we were supposed to do an interview, but like, oh, he doesn't want to talk about that. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
For what I do, it's like, we got on one side of the story. I want to hear the other side. Because, his, stepbrother Pooh Sims has been calling me, and he's putting out all the snitch paperwork and everything else like that.
Yeah, I think Max B is kind of running from the whole snitch narrative. You know, he wants to do friendly podcasts with guys like Cameron, et cetera, who, I mean, he's such like a hero in New York that it's like all these dudes who otherwise really kind of abide by the street code are not really lining up to shit on Max B just because his legacy was so impressive. And it is weird when somebody's locked up for a decade and a half and then they come out, and that's the exact moment that everybody kind of finds out that maybe they did some stuff that's not really kosher on a street level. Because I mean, Wack is deeply invested in this for some reason, and he's always telling me the day-to-day updates about Max B's shit. And I mean, I don't know to what extent his career is going well or that his music is performing well. I did hear some of the songs with French that really didn't strike me as good in any way.
I mean, look, French did a whole album with him.
Yeah.
Like every song.
Yeah.
How many more albums is he going to do with them? I don't think too many more.
Yeah.
I think he's put in his work, kept his name out there, probably helped him with legal bills, became a hot rapper. So there's a reason, there's someone that could actually take you along on this ride, introduce him to Princess of Dubai and all that type of stuff. But at this point, all the, oh my God, he's back home. It's so great. That has died down. And now it comes time to, can he create music that people are going to listen to? Or, can he keep touring off his old songs?
Yeah.
To the point where he could keep getting booked and so forth. I don't know.
He's always going to be a street legend, but let's be real. It's cold out here for a 40-year-old rapper. Like, I mean, the number of rappers who actually have significant careers in their 40s, there's the juggernauts, there's the Drakes and the J. Coles and whatnot, but pretty limited besides dudes like that, and you see that because they're all streamers and podcasters now. And
pretty much, yeah.
It's like I don't know. I don't know that the Max B thing was ever really going to turn into too much. Granted, he was very influential, and his sound is important for people to understand if you want to understand where rap is at these days. But I don't think, I don't see him being somebody that's going to be huge going forward. But he's always going to be a local legend for sure.